So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Idea Zone. This is my my game show host shit that I hate fucking doing, introducing people, but has to be done because others have done it before me, and I'm not doing it any better. So, I want to welcome two very lovely people. We are together because I bombed at their school. Of which, if you want to, watch all about that, you can check out their podcast. I'm going to direct people to your podcast for that. Andrew and Grace, where would people go to find that if they want to watch?
They can look up Shenanigans Comedy UCLA and find our comedy club's YouTube channel. Or if you look up Stephen Lolli, UCLA Shenanigans Comedy, the podcast will come up.
Excellent. Okay. So I bombed at their school. They were so, I don't even know what the term is, open to visiting me again, that we had this great conversation and we covered all of that horrible bloodbath. We're going to talk about a little bit of generational differences on the show, because I did have some, as we all do when we have conversations, I meditated after and thought about a bunch of shit that I wanted to talk to you guys about. But I want to introduce them first. First of all, both UCLA students, both aspiring comedians. We just get that out of the way. The first guy, nobody takes him seriously regarding his comedy at all. I'm putting this in my own words as intro. His mother tells people he's a computer science major. She's in denial. Could bode well for him later in his career. Maybe not, but might be a good. Many great comedians have had the same story. His comedy is stupid. Admittedly, he realizes this comedy is useless as of now. He hopes, like a blind man thrusting for pay dirt into the universe, he hopes that he will get a laugh and amuse you. Andrew Battat. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yep.
Andrew Battat is here.
Happy to be here, Stephen.
Great intro.
Excellent, brother. Thank you for joining me. I hate the formality of this introduction shit. I really do. It's why I never hosted anything before this in my life. She laughs at her own jokes. She's going to tell you right up front. She's going to laugh at her own jokes. She's also an aspiring comedian like Andrew, except in her own words, better than he is. And that is the lovely Grace Cohen joining us from Malibu. Hey, Grace.
Hi.
Grace,
Hey, Grace.
you look pumped. You look pumped.
I'm ready to go. Psyched.
So, Andrew, I love this intro. I don't know if you two planned this.
Yeah, when we were asked for a bio, I was like, oh, this is a good opportunity to write out a bio, something to have in the future. Then I sent mine to Grace because she asked to see mine, and she said, okay, let's dig into Andrew.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was going to be like a funny bio or not, and then Andrew
Yeah.
and I said, well, I don't want to look stupid, so.
Well, I was about to look stupid I was about to tell Andrew that if he didn't know that was planned, that this is a girl that's flirting with you. I was going to give him some, but see, now that I know it's planned, that's unfortunately, that bomb is not going to go off. So, obviously, this is a time when I think the last time we spoke, these riots were just starting.
Yeah.
And now it's died down, the violence is over, and it's become something peaceful. I mainly do this podcast because I want to give people a little light lift, as I'm sure it's a shock to you after seeing my stand-up, that I want to give people a light lift. Like, I want to give them something lighthearted to have that they can watch and take their mind off things. But I'm wondering if you guys have any thoughts about the protests from your point of view, or anything to say.
Grace, do you want?
Yeah, I'll go. I think it's incredible. I think it's really powerful. I have learned more in the past week about, racial injustices and our current policing system than I have my entire student career. I feel extremely educated and knowledgeable. I think it's really cool that we're living through this civil rights movement, because 7 years ago I was learning about it in history class. So it's crazy that now we're actually living through one, and I see a lot of positive change already happening. But obviously there's still a lot more to be done.
Cool. How about you, Andrew?
I'm going to follow Grace's lead and use my I statements. I have also been educating myself a lot in the last 2 weeks, just because it's all around me. People are posting podcasts to listen to. People are posting articles to listen to. And it's been wonderful seeing my social media feed flooded with resources to learn. And I've been having discussions like the one we're having with my loved ones, and it's been a growing experience. I know I'm not the same person as I was on the issue as I was 2 weeks ago. So in that sense, it's been fantastic.
What do you guys think about the, sorry, my feed keeps going funny. What do you guys think about some of my comedy cohorts who are posting? I'm sure it's not just comedians, but I see other comedians posting this shit. Oh, you didn't want anybody to protest a couple weeks ago because you were telling people to social distance, but now you have no problem going into the streets and protesting and spreading the COVID. What are your how do you guys feel about that?
I'm a dummy. Oh, you go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, you go
That was
first,
a
Grace.
stupid answer right off the bat. So I'm just gonna take it away.
Because the people, we're looking for wisdom to people who have admitted they have no wisdom
Yeah.
to share. But those are the people I go to for wisdom. So you go first, Grace.
I was just gonna say, I see what people are saying, you know, like, why are people going in the streets protesting? There's a huge pandemic going on. I think the fact that people are risking their health to protest just shows how crucial and urgent this issue is, and how it really, you know, something this drastic really needed to happen, which is sad for it to change. But I just think, you know, the fact that during this pandemic that people are going and protesting shows like it's got to be done, you know. That's my take.
Okay, Andrew, your wisdom, sir.
Wisdom. I've heard people on both sides of the argument as far as COVID saying, some saying, you know, the whole reason we went into lockdown in the first place was so that we wouldn't overwhelm the medical system. We haven't, we didn't, we won't. Let's start opening up. And then there are other people saying, like, no, if we open up, there will immediately be a spike. There will be a needless death. We can't be opening up. You know, they're both smart people in my eyes. I've heard smart people say both of that. So I don't know. I'm just a guy who wants to make people laugh.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's the most honest thing. Here's what I think, okay? Because you knew you were going to get some little bit from me. I think it's perfectly. This is really fucking arrogant, and I'm going to go double down on this. But yeah, I don't give a fuck if people's malls are closed or the beach is closed. I don't need you showing up to the courthouse. When people are dying in the street, yeah, that's when you go out and you fucking protest. That's what's worth a fucking protest, not because the fucking swap meet's closed, redneck. All right, so that's my opinion. Now, wow. Yeah, that was the same response I got at UCLA when I was screaming, they're going to force Joe Biden on you. Yes, so after we talked, I felt like, gosh, we should have a conversation right away. I wanted to talk to you guys. I was like, I wish I could have talked to you guys for another hour. Our producer, unfortunately, did not make this a professional. He hasn't upgraded this to professional status yet. So we only get 30 minutes. So I wish we could talk forever, but this is going to be, I want to discuss this with you guys though. So okay, wait, let me collect my thoughts here. I grew up in Chicago. I'm from Chicago. And then my parents moved us to Florida. And I ended up in public school in Florida. Not South Florida, not like Miami Beach, like Central Florida. Very, very Republican, conservative area. And a lot of the kids I grew up with, it was the 80s, okay? So it's the 1980s, early 90s. So all of the kids I grew up with who were Black people dominated American culture at that time. like dominated American culture. Everybody wanted to be black. This is how much black people dominated American culture. The Puerto Ricans were pretending to be black. The Cuban people, the Cuban kids I grew up with, all wanted to be black. Okay, so now that I've gotten older and I see these people on Facebook, all right, I see these, they're grown, they have kids. Okay, I'm like a grown infant. I'm the only one who doesn't have kids and is not married. And I see them where and they're on the fucking golf course and they're out like they're out at the country club. A lot of them are wearing camouflage pants. A lot of them have pictures with their kids with rifles. And they're all these like hillbilly right wingers now. And it's just fascinating to me how as the culture's changed, and I guess I'm just sharing this with you guys because Grace, you're on mute, by the way, I think.
Yeah.
I
keep because my family is loud, so.
We can't hear them. You're cool.
Okay.
Basically, I'm sharing this with you because I don't know that you guys had this kind of experience, or you, because you're not old enough, maybe you haven't seen this shift yet. But I've seen all these kids who were pretending to be black growing up in the 80s and 90s, and now they're like NRA stockbrokers. And so for me, it's surreal. I've got to be honest with you. But I will tell you this. When I was in high school, I was a member of the Young Republicans Club. I didn't even know what a fucking Republican was. My friends joined this club, so I joined this club. And then later on in college, I started going, what the fuck, what, this is weird, and started becoming conscious of things. Do you guys think growing up on the West Coast, you've been conscious since you were young? Do you think you're just coming to it now, or what? Why don't you start this one, Andrew?
I still don't think I'm conscious. I'd like to think my thoughts are fully formed, but I think about my thoughts 2 years ago. I'm like, wow, he just didn't get it.
What was going on 2 years ago? I want to know.
Okay, something happened, and I thought, I have an opinion. Just, I don't even want to think of a specific example because it happens so often. So I've always felt like very strongly about my opinions, whether they're political or otherwise. And I feel like in the last year, I've come to the realization that I don't get it. I always thought politics was one of my strong suits. I did Model UN and journalism all throughout high school. I was active. I was well read. Part of it is just a lack of interest. And I've kind of fallen out of staying in the news cycle. So yeah, I mean, I grew up in a very liberal environment, a very liberal school. I didn't have a whole lot of conservative voices around me. And because of that, I myself grew up liberal, as the statistics will tell you. And now going to UCLA, I still haven't been exposed to that many conservative voices.
So you might need to travel the country.
I would love to. I'd love to go on tour.
Grace, how about you, my friend?
Yeah, I similar to Andrew, I very much grew up in a very democratic bubble, like very, very liberal. And I, still am, but I wasn't exposed to any, right-wing opinions or anything like that. And also kind of like Andrew, I never had an interest in politics. I grew up a competitive figure skater, so I was literally like homeschooled.
Wow.
So I got whatever they teach regarding politics at like a regular school that goes in person. I got just even less of that. So I truly just had no knowledge of politics. It was never a priority to learn it. It was not my focus.
So the world is sort of forcing this on both of you now, basically.
Yeah. I was never, it was just never a topic of conversation that I had that I looked for. So that's why I feel like I'm learning a lot right now.
Okay. Do you know what it was for me? It was, I'm sure there were things that not conscious of, by the way, like things that happen that you're not going to remember. But I am conscious of this. When I was 16, my dad sat me down and we watched George Carlin jamming in New York. Now, my dad is a right-wing Reagan Republican. So a lot of people will be confused by me explaining this story. George Carlin, I don't think he'd seen George Carlin in a while. And George Carlin this is 1992. And George Carlin was like, we only bomb brown people, except for Germany. They're trying to dominate the world. That's our fucking job. George, it was the most violent left-wing. It was like a street guy with very well-informed left-wing politics, which is the only way it could communicate to me, because I was not into art, or not at all. I was a baseball player, and I liked my tough friends. Like, it was the Reagan era bully. That was my upbringing. That's why you witnessed this violence on stage, because that's my upbringing, you know. So I had to get it from this, but my dad was not meaning to show that to me. He thought this guy was going to be a cute, funny, clever wordsmith guy, and he didn't realize he was going to expose me. And seeing that guy do that did something to me. It wasn't just that I thought it was slick, but I was like, oh, there's somebody telling the truth in a way that I could hear it. Like, he communicated directly to my 16-year-old brain, and I'd never seen anything. And by the way, in comedy, and I'd seen comedy and stuff, but I had it was like fucking science fiction. It was like, woo, you know. And if you ever get around to watching that, I mean, it's free on YouTube. You'll see, if you're ever even curious or bored, and you go watch that, you can put yourself in my 16-year-old. Anyway, that was a violent altering of my worlds. And after we watched that, my dad said, he pointed to George Carlin, he said, now, son, that's a communist. And that was my, like, now again, I didn't like suddenly become a protester, or even now I'm like, look, you know, you can only do what you can do. But yeah, and I restrain my opinions a lot with my friends, because I want to keep my friends. And I find that every friend I have, if I express my opinion, I will drive them away. Like, if I can find shit to disagree with everyone I love about, like, everyone.
That is true.
Yeah, so that's like the main essential truth of my, a lot of people who've helped my career have had very different politics than me. So anyway, okay, so on to another topic. Thank you for letting me dominate the conversation, guys.
It's interesting.
On to another topic, generational differences in comedy. Because you guys said Grace, you grew up with older brothers, right?
Yeah.
And so was it South Park that you?
Yeah. Oh, it was all of them. South Park, Family Guy, Mad TV, a lot of Saturday Night Live, The Dave Chappelle Show, Tosh.0, all those good shows.
And Andrew, how about you? What were beside Dimitri Martin, we already covered that.
Yeah, when I was pretty young, the comedy that I really got exposed to, I'm talking like elementary school, was South Park and Family Guy to a lesser degree. I watched a lot of listened to a lot of Louis C.K. when I was a kid. I had a Pandora radio station called Louis C.K. Radio, and I would dislike anything that wasn't Louis C.K. So the radio was like, okay, we'll give you Louis C.K.
Okay, so wow, well, we gotta address this. So now, how do you feel regarding Louis C.K.? Do you still find him fun? I do. So I'll put that out there right now. I still think he's a brilliant comic, but
I also think he's a brilliant comic. I will say that the whole incident has put him under a different level of scrutiny, not just in his personal life, but I think in his comedy itself. And I've been watching a lot of Louis' comedy lately. I actually watched one of his older specials yesterday. I think it was Chewed Up, which was his, I think, first super big special. And then, I don't know, maybe it was just the mindset going into it, but there were amazing moments, but it wasn't as strong as I remembered. And I don't know, maybe the incident has something to do with that.
It might be that you're older too, and that you're just watching comedy that he hadn't hit his stride yet, you know.
Maybe it's also 12 years old. You know, that's the time for comedy to age. It was more shock humory than I expected, and that can grow tiresome. So maybe that was just, more in back then. I don't know. But I watched his newest special, the one that came out.
Yeah, tell us about that, because I have not seen that.
Certainly worth a watch. It was funny, had a lot of fantastic moments where you were like, oh, he hasn't lost it. There's other moments where I was like, okay, that's fine. He can be very hit or miss for me. But what matters is he can really hit. He addresses the incident, talks about it for like 10 minutes. Yeah, a lot of it is, doing bits around it. He has one bit where he's like, I get lonely. I want company when I masturbate.
No.
It's worth a watch. He
Dude,
makes
listen,
it funny.
I on that note, I would say the arts, 98% of the population are perverted. I'm a admittedly a pretty perverted guy, and I think the arts and entertainment have been, and I say this on stage to laughs a few times. I have. The arts have been a safe space for perverts. It's a place we can go. It's a place we can go and express some deep-seated dissatisfaction with whatever we're not getting or whatever we can't work out. I think the only thing I would say about Louis is maybe what I take exception with was he was in a position of power and it was in the workplace.
Certainly.
And those people that he did it to, they were forever, like they left the business. Like a lot of them just gave up after that. And so that, I think that's the area that I have a problem with the power usage,
Yeah.
Grace, you said you grew up watching Chappelle. So
Yeah.
Chappelle and Louis, I mean, that's sort of, is that your generation then? Would you say most kids grew up with that stuff?
No, honestly, I lived in a very lenient household when it came to like the entertainment that I was watching. A lot, like I have conversations with my friends and I try to bring up things like, that one SpongeBob episode, and they were like, oh, my parents never let me watch SpongeBob as a kid. So like
SpongeBob is subversive?
Like some parents argued like it's annoying and I don't want you to be annoying, which I get, especially now like reflecting on myself and how it was like
That's funny.
So there's
oh my
that.
God, that's so funny.
And then there's like the parents that are like it's inappropriate. So it's like a mix of the two. But So with that being said, like not a lot of my friends that I know have watched the Chappelle show. I never like was able to like talk about it amongst my friends because they didn't get it. But like with my brothers and like their like older guy friends, they would watch the show. So I think it really depends on like it's like a household thing, because it was definitely popular for like the more adult crowd, but I'm not sure about like the kids,
So basically you were kind of like my friend Frankie Lopez, whose parents let him watch whatever, and I'd have to go over to his house. Of course, we didn't have internet then, so I have to go over to his house to watch Showtime, Skinamax, Eddie Murphy Raw. I saw over there.
Right.
My parents would not let Eddie Murphy into the house. It was not allowed. It was never a spoken rule. It was just a censorship by omittance. Ironically, Bill Cosby was welcome. We didn't know what we know, and Bill Cosby was obviously a good influence or a good role model at that time. Even Richard Pryor was allowed. I saw The Toy when I was very young, which I don't know if you've seen that, but The Toy, Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder,
Right.
And that stuff. But yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. You had a lenient house, and Andrew, it sounds like yours was pretty lenient too.
It was lenient, but more than that, I had a computer. I think that's part of the generational difference is that, when I was in my room alone with my computer, they didn't know what I was watching. I knew how to sign into our Xfinity account and watch whatever I wanted. There were no parental controls. I had YouTube. If I wanted to watch something, I could find it.
Yeah, I used YouTube.
Pirate Bay, South Park.
Yeah, YouTube was definitely like one of my outlets in elementary school where I would watch just like inappropriate shit that totally wasn't acceptable for a 7-year-old. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Shane Dawson, but he's this YouTube personality that I religiously watched, and his content, if I look back at some of his old stuff from 2007, was just so problematic and so not okay for a little like third grader to be watching. But I loved it. I was just watching it and I was so entertained, and my parents didn't know. So
Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
I was just saying, Grace, do you remember that video of was it Charlie's Unicorn?
Yes, I had the T-shirts. There was this. I had the T-shirts. There was this cartoon like series on YouTube called Charlie the Unicorn, and it was just really morbid and bizarre and dark. And I was 7 and was like, pretty colors and like funny like tongue noises.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a shirt now and wear it all the time.
I remember watching that when I was like 7 too. And if you've seen it, you know that it's dark.
Yeah.
It doesn't look dark when you first see it. So that was there too. Just a bunch of videos like that that were just
to like paint a picture of like what kind of content it was. One of the most popular like Charlie the Unicorn episodes was when this unicorn Charlie, our main character, is kidnapped by these 2 other unassuming unicorns, and they bring him to Candy Mountain and they sedate him and then steal his they like steal his organs, and he wakes up with like a huge scar on the side of his stomach.
Right. Yeah.
And then the episode ends and it's like you're like laughing and you're 7 and you don't know.
It's an abortion episode.
Yeah, it's just like black market stealing organs. And
so you guys had subversive shit. You had subversive shit. But here's to my point, and the things I've been thinking about is a lot of the things you had that were subversive were animated. And my generation growing up, so the social commentary you got, whether it was Family Guy or Charlie the Unicorn, which sounds hilarious, by the way, South Park, it was all animated. A lot of it was. And so we had nothing that was, we had cartoons, but Saturday morning cartoons. And it was very lighthearted subversion.
Yeah.
It was very
Adult Swim was a revolution.
Yeah, we had no Adult Swim, and none of our social commentary was animated. But alternatively, all of our social commentary was human. It was all delivered by very aggressive, pissed off, funny people who were, and sometimes they weren't all pissed off. Like Saturday Night Live's, the 70s Saturday Night Live was not. They were more cute and loving and whatever, but I think also it's jarring to see or hear for you guys, or even a generation older than you, I've found, to hear a really, and I relate to, I'm saying this to you from my own failures as a comedian in front of audiences, is that when you get social commentary humor from a voice you're not familiar with, it can be like, what the fuck is going on right now? This is not, as for me, when I hear something, I might not be as startled by it, or, but then again, to be fair, my generation was also, I was right on the cusp of the animation generation. I was just disinterested in that. I was going backward to Pryor and Carlin are my parents' generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back to them, and Lenny Bruce and Sam Kinison. And so I wonder if, I'm just bringing this up to you guys, if you've even considered that or thought of, I might have even screamed that to you while I was on stage, possibly.
Maybe. Might have.
But sorry, what's the question?
Well, the question is, had you thought about that? Had that ever occurred to you, that some of the disconnect between an older generation, when they're giving you guys shit, might be because they didn't grow up with the safety of the commentary coming from a football head and a cartoon baby?
I don't know. I guess I know. I don't think I've ever thought of it in those terms. Yeah, I don't think about much.
We all know,
Well, we're going to title this
coming back.
Are you a baseball fan?
Kind of. I grew up a big.
He doesn't even give a shit about baseball, people. He's just saying that.
No.
Yeah, I was like, this will work for the punchline.
Rams, Chargers. Rams or Chargers?
Rams.
Okay.
But
Grace,
more
Rams
Niners.
or Chargers? You don't give a shit about sports at all.
Neither. Patriots.
You were a competitive figure skater.
Yeah.
Do you want to get as far away? My sister was a competitive gymnast, and she hated it. Do you want to get as far away from athletic competition as you possibly can?
It's interesting. I definitely miss the sport a lot because it was all I knew, it was all I did. So I definitely get the withdrawals. But yeah, sports and competitiveness and athletics are a very touchy subject for me. But I still love sports. But now I need to find ways to find another competitive outlet.
You have. It's called show business, and it's much worse than sports.
There you go.
Welcome to the horror show.
Yeah.
Here's what you guys do have going for you. You're very adorable, both of you. I say that, Andrew, and all as platonically as I can. You're both adorable. You're at UCLA, so you're not at the University of Central Florida, which was where I was at, which was fucking, the only culture was the bacteria in the water down there. And the only self-improvement was going to the gym. I had one friend who read, Grace, I know you don't like to read, but I know you're being half kidding. I had one friend who really actually read shit and listened to like music and introduced me to so I had one sophisticated friend. You got a lot going for you. You don't have to move 1,000 miles to be in show business. And you're probably gonna make connections with people who can help you, because this is a bloodbath. This business is look what it produced. You know, so I've kind of dominated this conversation, guys. Sorry about that. I want you guys to give us some last thoughts, kind of like a closing statement. We'll start with you, Andrew.
Last thoughts about me or the world?
Whatever you want to say, man. There's gonna be like 250 people watching this.
Hey people, hey, what's up? I don't know, just be nice to people. People can be so mean, and I feel it myself. It's just, sometimes it's human instinct. You see something that sucks, you go, that sucks. Or you see something that sucks, you think, that sucks, stay stuck. So I don't know, if you could consciously stop doing that, people, do it, or at least try. I know I tried it myself. Just don't be so negative, guy.
The wisdom of Andrew. He thought he could fool us with this fucking small ball minimalism thing, but there's wisdom. Grace, what would you say about Andrew's wisdom?
I don't even know how to follow up that. I mean, he just stole the show. I think he said, don't be sucky or something. He used the thumbs. That was so good. That was really good.
Use the thumbs. He did the. This is not even a male. Men should not even be doing this. No man. It's not a natural. We only do it to speak to women.
I would just say I agree though with the message, and that is to spread positivity, educate yourself about the current happenings of the world, have conversations about it, keep your head up, laugh a lot. I use comedy as like my outlet for literally everything. It helps so much. And have some good food. Have a good meal. Have a good meal.
Have a good meal.
Have a good meal.
Between the two of you, I could see you marrying and opening like a bed and breakfast, like a really nice one, like in Pacific Palisades, and just.
I do all the work.
Yeah. I don't want to. Do not even bring that up. No, it would never work. It would never work.
I can't believe it took us a half an hour to get into the real situations here. What's going on? Does he do all the work? Does he? Is he the? You're the guy. You can do all the work.
No, Andrew, more like you'll just do it and not even ask. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. And with that being said,
that's also right.
Is there work? Okay, but a simpler question. What work is there to be done, Grace?
There's not that much.
Nothing.
For bed and breakfast, there'd be a lot, though.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, on that note, you guys are adorable. Seriously, you should really get together. You should really get together. You should be together. Grace, listen to me. I was Andrew. I was looking at his picture, his headshot. Or our producer, by the way, did not forward me your picture. He kept it for himself. But I was looking at Andrew's picture and I was like, that was me. I mean, I'm gonna, I'm gonna find a picture and have our producer put them side by side in post. I'm not kidding. I'm looking at this guy, I'm going, I was this guy. The only difference was I didn't have a Grace Cohen in my life. I didn't have a beautiful, funny, lovely Jewish girl, or any girl. I didn't have any girl, really. And that is why this fucking happened. So Grace, listen.
Okay.
Andrew does all the work, but just be the support, give him the love. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's not a lonesome guy. He's probably got many girls chasing him. I'm embarrassing the shit out of him right now. But the larger point being, Grace, listen to me. Heal the world. If you really mean it, heal the world.
Okay.
By giving this guy love.
Okay.
All right. On that note, where can we find you guys on social media?
If you look up Andrew Battat on Instagram, you can find me. Also on YouTube, find me there.
On Instagram, Grace 3_ Cohen, and that's pretty much it. It's just Instagram.
Was there just Instagram? That's your main?
That's my main. Yeah, I haven't been on like Andrew. I don't really post a lot of my like comedy content online. Andrew, that's more Andrew's thing. So yeah.
But when you have comedy content you want to post, you'll probably be
on maybe YouTube. A lot of our comedy club Shenanigans has a YouTube page, and you could find both me and Andrew on there doing like our sketches and whatnot.
These are really cool people. No Idea Zone watchers, all 13 old Jewish ladies out there who watch our show, including my mother, my loving mother. These are really cool people, man, and I dig them. So follow them, give them your love, send your friends from the community center over to their Instagram pages and their YouTube pages, and we look to do more and hang out. And when you guys are around, listen, come to the beach. I told you, you got to come to the beach and visit me. I don't think you will, but I have a very beautiful female comic coming to
cool.
Like help is on the way. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Man, I feel like I'm getting out of solitary confinement today.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you guys for joining me. You guys are awesome. Really, I truly mean that. And maybe we'll do follow-up. Maybe we'll make this a regular thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys down with that? Would you be cool with that?
We're down with that.
Yeah, we're down with that.
Okay. I can't tell by your level of I can't tell by your level.
I'm very down for that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Grace, you got to get a YouTube channel. Don't fuck around.
Okay.
Andrew will do all the work. Build it for you.
I'd punch you in the face, Andrew.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye.
See you in a few weeks. Bye.